Hey, welcome to another episode of the DTC Insider podcast. I'm Roisentul, your host, and today I'm going to interview Carlos Barreto, founder and CEO of Cleverman, and Mariana Lee, COO and partner of that company. Hey guys, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi,
Thank you for
Brian.
the question.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So I know we met before. We used to work together as for the audience to know. And I actually love your company. I know you both are great. So I wanted to bring you to the show for everyone else to know about you, Cleverman, and the story. So why don't you start by telling the audience more about you two, how you met, and how you came up with the idea of Cleverman.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. Actually, I founded Cleverman 4 or 5 years ago. I used to work in the beauty industry, and I saw a tremendous opportunity to come with solutions for men. It's an emerging market, but we don't have the solutions. We were talking about inclusion in beauty with 50 foundations, but you go to the aisle of male grooming, and then you have 2, 3 solutions. So we also need customization. We also, as a guys, we need a brand that can help us to look good, to feel good about ourselves. And building on the company, I saw that it was such a need, for men to feel more confident, to have more self-esteem, to feel more included and loved. And we have been like building on that aspect around the brand. We launched a couple of categories now, but our goal is to be a more encompassing male grooming brand into the future. With Mariana, we met a few years ago also at Revlon. So after I founded the company, very quickly she came into the company, and she has been becoming my right arm in this company. And we have been working shoulder to shoulder to build the team, growing the brand. And yes, we are very excited about all what we have been doing. We have now 3 years selling products, and sales are growing, more customers are coming, more challenges are happening, but has been a very fulfilling journey, let's say like that. Mariana, what you have to add?
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's been amazing. I've been at Cleverman for 4 years. I joined the project then. As Carlos mentioned, he and I met at Revlon. I was there for about 10 years, and Carlos and I worked together for about 6 of them or something like that. So we knew each other well. I believed in Carlos and in the project, and was excited to switch from corporate. Before Revlon, it was all big corporate multinational companies. And so it was a great switch to a startup and to a project where we could build a brand and a business. It's been amazing.
Awesome. And I love it that it's men focused, right? Because there are so many options for women, but not for men. So thank you, both of you, for producing products for us, to look beautiful, or try to, right? Awesome. So from
That
the
is so
time, yeah. So from the time we worked together, I remembered that, and I checked, and recently, and I know that it's still the same in a good way, that you guys do things or some things in a unique way, and many brands should be following some of the things that you do, honestly. And I don't know about your thoughts on these, but we always discuss here in the show that brands nowadays need to check multiple boxes to be successful. I mean, it's not enough with the things that were a few years ago. Many brands, as we all know by now, got away with written some fair, good-looking ads, okay website, okay offer products, and then they sold, probably in when the pandemic started, right? And then those brands need to do way more things nowadays to not only acquire customers, but also level up their retention game, because everything is more expensive, right? The margins are thinner depending on the industry, right? And it's very important to increase not only to decrease the cost per acquisition, but also to increase the LTV, the lifetime value, and so on, right? So I know you guys check many of those boxes, but I would like to go by one, if you want, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Product. I know you guys have an awesome product, but do you have the same version of the product that you used to have when you started, or how you iterated that?
Yeah, we are quite young actually. So basically our product is the same, in general. What we identify really as and I think that you are beginning to do with the right thing. I think that you can do all the promotions, you can have best ads, best consumer acquisition, but if you don't have a product that consumers love, that has a differentiation, then you are not gonna have a repeat. People is not gonna use it anymore, and that's a failure. And what I have been noticing a lot, maybe in the beauty industry, is that, yeah, we're getting more custom about the execution than about the product sometimes. And then I can acquire this product, I can put my label and I can launch it. I begin to sell. But in my opinion, this is my perspective. I think that to drive a product that is good, that is differentiated, that is unique, that has a unique formula, is the most important piece to have success. And developing our product, in the case of Cleverman, we spent almost 2 years developing the formula. I began with a company in Italy. We had maybe around 4 or 5 formulas that we try. The third formula that we had, it was like almost the last one. It was not working as we expected. We wanted to create a product that was working fast, the color was lasting, that really had differentiation with our competitors. And finally, we had to do some trade-offs in our formulation, and then we were able to get the product. And when we got the product and the product was good, I used it with other friends, I went to some colorists to use the product, is when all this journey really began. Yeah, how we do the packaging, how we do the graphics, how we build a consumer experience that looks good, that is also part of that product. And I think that has been the foundation. So they having a unique differentiation in your formula. Our formula works in 5-10 minutes. It lasts longer. It has more variety of colors. It doesn't have ammonia. We had to work a lot to make that happen. And I think that that's still at our core. We want to be the best product in the category in every single thing that we do.
It's awesome.
And I think that it's so important. I mean, I joined and the product was done already, so I don't take any credit for that. It was all Carlos, for the most part by himself and one more person, but so important because when we launched the website, as we were struggling coming from, different distribution systems with having a website that worked, as we were struggling with, as you said, Brian, campaigns that were proven to be more expensive than we thought, and acquisition that was high, the product was right. And that was so important to not have to fix that because it's obviously so difficult if you don't get it right. So I cannot tell you how important it was to have that box check before we got going.
Yeah. And for those wondering how to get it right, well, 2 things that Carlos said that stood out to me at least. One, he spent, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2 years, not 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months, 2 years developing the product, iterating different, different recipes. I don't know how to call it technically there, but until they got it right. And the second is to distribute it to authorized people to actually validate that there was a product market fit, that product was good. Because you can, if you miss one of these, it's highly likely that when you start distributing it at scale with ads or something else, it fails because you don't, or it's a 50-50 because you haven't validated the product or you haven't validated the formula, right? That they created something that will be lasting and effective for what you want. So first, congrats on that. And second, I think it's something that is key for everyone listening that is looking to start in something new to consider, right?
Especially
Yes,
if you have a business model that's based on repurchase, like hair dye is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe one of the advantages of coming from Procter or Coke or Revlon at the end is that you have the discipline to test the products, to do marketing research. And my first job was in marketing research, so I was very keen to make sure that we did the proper testing, that we did testing with consumers, that we tested all our chains, that we learned what was good or not good. But actually, we did a couple more products and we decided not to launch them because the results were not what we expected. So having that piece, also, we did some marketing research about our concept. This is another piece that we did because we did the product, but we tested our concept, we tested the brand, we tested the packaging, we tested our graphics, and that helped us to validate and improve. And this is something that is real. All that testing that we did at the beginning, we did a testing around with 2,000 consumers online in US, testing out the concept and the product. Many of those things have been coming into reality. It's very similar, you know? So I suggest to people that they are going to launch a new product that they spend the time and the energy developing a good proposition that has the value to test that your concept is good, that consumers understand it. And I think that that will help you to reduce your risk and to have more possibilities of success.
Yeah, and I think in your case, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I can read everywhere on your website and every publication I see about you guys, the word the mission. If you are in a mission on changing something, that will put you in a different position than if you're trying to sell things. None of them are wrong. You can be in the game for selling, but of course you will care more, at least that's my opinion, if you are on a mission to changing something, right? And in this case, I think that's one of the key drivers for you to look for the best quality because you truly care. You're not in it to only sell anything, but to truly care about delivering that mission, right?
Yes, and that mission is helping to look good, to feel their best. I have a experience that I had talking about testing. When we were testing the product, we decided to test it with several consumers. Many of those guys, they never take care of themselves. You know, actually, they never had hair color or beard dye or putting too much attention to how they look. So when we did the testing of these people, and there were many of them, actually, when they saw themselves in the mirror, you cannot imagine how they feel about going back to dating because they were divorced or finding a new job or going that day to go to dance. And actually, many of them, after the testing, it was this guy, this particular guy, that he came like 3 hours after we finished with him, like the testing of the product, and he liked it, etc. And he said, my wife saw me and she was so happy. I really need to buy this product. Where I'm gonna buy it? Please launch it. I wanna get it. And there were few like that. And then I feel like, yeah, this product, we can have that mission. Identify, we are not just only launching a product because it's an interesting category. We are launching something that really can impact the life or the little things of someone because they feel more confident. They feel more confident to go to the interview and to get a job, or they feel more confident to go to date, or they feel more confident to have a date again with his wife, you know, to celebrate an anniversary or anything. So, and working with women for many years in female categories, I think that with makeup, yeah, and beauty, women have a lot of tools to do that, yeah, actually to gain self-confidence, etc., etc. But we guys don't have. And I think this could be a good opportunity to create some of those tools. Some people can use it, some people cannot use it. Some people say, oh, I prefer my grace. Okay, good, but just taking little care about yourself, doing a little bit of exercise or doing a little bit of changes in your diet and feeling better about yourself is gonna help you to be and to feel better. And actually, part of what we are doing on our social is all around that. It's about we don't want to portray just only hair color and beard dye. You know, that is what we launched. And again, we want to launch new things in the future. We wanted to be more that community that is helping men to look good, to feel good, to have tips about how to take care of your skin, how to look better, how to have a better mental health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because I think that we want to become that companion, that friend to guys that help them to guide them through all those little things that can have a big impact on your lives.
Amazing. Yeah, you made me remember about a story that a guest here on the show told us. It was about when he said the thing about this guy saying that his wife loved it. So it was the same thing, you know, that this brand sells men's underwear. They are trying to do a revolution in the men's underwear industry, and they are doing it. They use no models. It's the four founders everywhere. They are so funny, and they actually they call their VIP customers to know how they are doing, and sometimes with their permission, of course, they record the calls, and you cannot see the customers. It's not a Zoom call, it's a phone call, but they record themselves with the phone in their hands for ads. And on one of the ads, I remember, and they told the story on the show, it was about the same thing. The guy bought one, and they were calling them because then he bought like 20 boxers of trunks, and they were asking them why, because, and he said, hey, you know, when I got home and I showed my wife how I looked like in those, she said, it looks amazing. So if my wife says it looks amazing, give me 20 of them, right? We are not used to these kind of things. I guess that you must have a lot of first time, like a lot of men, which is the first time doing this, right? We are not like many women, of course, are in the same position, but not most women probably that do things from younger ages, right? We don't do anything for ourselves, right? So it's probably the first time, and we are afraid, and there are many feelings of, hey, would I look good? Will my friends make fun of me, or what do I do? You know, so I guess that it's tough, right? So I wanted to talk on that, but linked to the offer, right? Because after you have a product, you need to propose an offer to the audience. So did you have any challenge with regards to that?
With regards to what, the
I
offer
mean,
or?
to being the first time, how do you present an offer? How do you present this product? How do you
Okay.
offer this product to men that are not used to doing things, or at least that I'm aware of, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting because most of our users are younger, yeah, and we thought initially that our consumer base was going to be a little bit more older, but we have a very good mix between younger and older people. And grace begin when you are 28, 29, 30 years old. It's not like it's that old because people think, okay, this product is for 50 years plus. No, actually, that happens and happens as women because women begin to have grace and begin to use hair color during their 30s. So this is what's happening. So we have been doing more. We are a very digital, a young, more fresh brand. I think that that has been very helpful. I think that also we have been targeting millennials. Millennials are not that young anymore. Yeah, see if I'm gonna say the truth. They are turning
Ma'am,
30,
don't say that.
they're turning 43 now. And so we have been addressing them. And I think that has been very interesting in terms of the target because it's a target that is more willing to try new things. They care more about themselves. It's not this stereotypical thing that you do it because you're a woman or you're a guy. They are going more to the gym. They have more tattoos. They are caring more about themselves. So that has been becoming a very interesting people to go. In the case of US, it's not that many brands of at least in hair color or make grooming talking to them. So we have been focusing all our efforts to really go to recruit new users, to recruit new people into the category, to have a more fresh conversation about these topics without taboos. And then in that way, yeah, making this a more natural thing to do. Mariana, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, no, what I was going to say is that the other interesting thing is the hair versus beard dynamic. We sell about 70% of what we sell is beard. And as we were preparing to launch, we were even debating, should we launch beard right away? Do we do it later? And the reason we were debating is because if you look at the category, it's the other way around, like the majority is hair. So in our mind, it made sense maybe to start with hair and present, to your point, like the proposition was a customized dye solution, but focused on hair. We have more products on hair, more varieties, more techniques. But then we decided to add beard, and this is what happened. And part of it is because of what Carlos was saying, our target audience skews younger, skews first time. The grays come in the beard first. We are a fresh new brand. It's also less intimidating, like to what we were just discussing, doing it in the beard, you can shave your beard, you can't really shave your head, like you can't see the back of your head. It's a lot less intimidating to do it in your beard. And so for all of those reasons, that's something we had to adjust, like, inventory, like materials, ads, we had to shift and be agile and shift the other way, because that's how our brand performs the best.
Makes sense. And now it's the time to talk about one of the things that I love the most about Cleverman, which is the website, the funnel, right? Because you need to have a product, you need to build a proper offer around it. But if you don't have a proper funnel, everything is going to be for nothing, right? And I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong again, that it 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 is not easy, or it wasn't easy for you in the beginning to think of how to put it together, because it's there are so many options depending on your skin color or hair color. So how do you make it easy for them to buy?
Okay, this is a good question. The developing a website store and an e-commerce platform, I think, is very challenging. There are many tools today. When we began, maybe there were some of those tools and they were not, let's say, that spread out. So we had to build many things ourselves. We were very I like technology, so I was looking at a lot of user interfaces. So we decided to do something more out there and never work it at the beginning. I think the biggest challenge was to begin to see users, and I think I'm more about that. How we see people interacting in our website. So we had Hotjar, and I think that in a matter of 2-3 months we had to redesign like completely our website. At the beginning, we were thinking something really unique and differentiated. Actually, I was very inspired by websites more technological, like Apple, and in the idea of the technology, but that was not my field. Actually, I had to learn a lot about this area. And what it was interesting that we quickly began to evaluate why our website was not working, people was not interacting. We have a couple of advisors actually in that area. And they told us, you don't look like the typical brand that is in a website. But I think we took a more balanced approach. We wanted to continue that differentiation, continue looking a little bit different than the standard brands, but bring some of the common things that consumers are looking for in a website. We began to use Hotjar. We began to see how consumers were interacting. We began to improve little by little, begin to do more A/B tests in some cases, or in other cases, just take the decision, to move things that are more straightforward. A lot of hours and days seeing Hotjar and seeing how people interacted with different things. So things that we thought that were beautiful, because I'm more driven by design and things look nice, didn't interact well with the consumer. So we had to do the change. And we finished with a very good funnel, that helped us to drive sales. We used our quiz to inform our users. We had to change it several times. This required like a lot of trial and error. And I think that if someone is gonna do this, I encourage you to continue seeing, how your consumers are interacting, how they interact with the different things, make things simple, but also make things unique that are really connected to your brand, so it doesn't look like another brand in DTC. I think that that's the challenge, how we begin to differentiate your brand and doesn't look like one more brand, that look similar, that have the similar buttons, that have the similar sense. I think that having a little bit of differentiation and brand ownership is going to be helpful to engage with your consumers or users.
To everyone, watching or listening to this, I can guarantee that, I mean, check it out in the show notes. The website speaks to you. Like, it's amazing. It's not something common that you see in every single brand. And is the quiz still the main driver of conversions?
Yes. Actually,
Can
yes.
you
We
describe it?
decided to launch another product a few months ago where it's more like bestsellers, or people don't have to do a quiz, and then we don't give you the right cost. We give you a good solution, but not necessarily customize it to you. And usually our users, when they go to our website, they finish doing the quiz, taking the time. This is kind of a decision, it's how I'm gonna look. Yeah, you're gonna look great, or you're gonna look good. So I encourage people to look great and look amazing and look the best version of themselves. So we just need to ask a few questions. We can customize, we can get a better look. Also, another piece that we have been working a lot is not just only on that piece or in the post-purchase, because many of our users try it so we can improve their product, we can improve their shade, maybe it doesn't work how it was. So we have been creating a lot of our work during the last few months has been more about not just only at the beginning of capturing the user, but how we continue building that relationship after the purchase.
Yeah. What is great is that, and what is different from many other brands is that probably most brands nowadays that I know, at least, that collect zero-party data or first-party data through post-purchase surveys or anything like that, do it that way through post-purchase surveys, right? Mostly. And you guys do it before they buy, right? To make sure that you can, I mean, if they follow the quiz, of course, to make sure that you can understand more about them and the ideal product, like the ideal color for them, etc. Is that still a thing for you guys?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
but no, I was gonna say it is something that we've had to evolve. Like at the beginning, we were asking a lot more questions, and it's a balance, because the more questions you ask, the more
Yes.
people that are gonna drop. And I think one area where we made amazing progress is in the quiz completion. I mean, we have anywhere between 75 and 80% of people that start the quiz completed. A benchmark that we had for the industry is 50, so it's super high, but it wasn't always that high. And I think removing some questions that were not necessary to build the product, but were, nice to have for us to understand our consumers, we've had to let go. And, to Carlos's point, now we try to ask them later and get it in different ways.
That's awesome. And for real, everyone listening or watching this, please go and check them out. You'll love them. And for sure, if you are in a similar position in which you need to get information from the user to personalize your experience, you will get a ton of ideas. And I really love the brand. I honestly do. I mean, it's a brand for men and they help us look better. So why not loving them? So now, I mean, not everything is about personalization. I know that you can personalize certain things on your website, a platform that you own, but you guys told me recently that you launched on Amazon. How do you make this personalization happen if you are actually doing on that platform that is not yours?
No, what we did is, I think it depends on your category. We are in a very interesting category where, let's say, 50% is your product and 50% is how you apply it. So what we saw, it was a very interesting opportunity also to go to the Amazon users, and also get some information from them. And also we cannot change the color because they're going to have SKUs there, but we can give them more customized instructions how to apply their product and how much time you can leave it, and give them more coaching around that area. And maybe we have less tutorials, less things to learn how to do it. So we wanted to bring a product that closed that gap. So we have been doing that, and I think the reception in Amazon has been amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the product that you receive at home, it's not personalized, but to Carlos's point, the other part, which is how you use it, is through a QR code. That's how we do it. We personalize post-purchase instead of pre-purchase
So where is the QR code?
on the
Yeah, in
product.
this box, you have like a quiz, or you
Oh,
can go to our website. You don't need to use a QR code, but you can just go to our website.
But that's how you find out about it in the box that you receive. We tell you
okay,
about.
that's smart. I've seen many, not many, but some brands do that sell in retail stores. Some of them are adding QR codes to their boxes, not for the same reason. Some of them, yes. So that's a smart move. That's awesome. So now I want to talk about something different. Sometimes there are like the things that people see, the the things that are full of glamour, the things that are nice for everyone to know about, and sometimes there are like the ugly or the necessary things to actually achieve success, the necessary daily, monthly, weekly actions, as we call it, putting in the reps every single day on the back end, in the shadows. So what kind of actions do you guys do to make this whole thing possible?
in what sense? Sorry, I need more detail.
In any can I take a stab at it,
Yeah.
Carlos?
Okay.
So I think I would say there's three things that we do. One, we measure, we track, we're very disciplined. And I think this is to Carlos's earlier point about the things we bring from this big corporate. I'm sure we bring some bad habits too, and some we've had to shed along the way. But like having, even if we are a small company, having discipline and in how we measure, having a forecast, having good models, all of that is super important. So we've continued to dedicate a lot of time. We have a Power BI, we have trackers that people do. We have, we use platforms, of course, Google Analytics and all of that. But that's been super important because when you do that in a disciplined and consistent way, that's when you see the problems and the opportunities, right, to address the business. I would say the second one is what Carlos was describing earlier about the consistency. Carlos had a vision for the brand, for the product. We even have a pyramid, which might sound very, very corporate, but it's still the same pyramid. And we tweak it here and there, but it's a light, right, that guide us through everything we do. And it is important. And we've changed, as Carlos was saying, we designed the websites 3 months into the launch, right? It's not that we haven't made drastic, agile changes, but at the same time, we've stayed, I think, very true to our essence. And the third thing is people. That one thing that we've changed many times is we've restructured the company. We've hired more people. We've replaced people. I think both Carlos and I understand that surrounding yourself with good people is so important. And that is something that, even though we are a small company and we don't have an HR department, is, him and I, but we do spend time. We talk about people. We talk about how to help them. When it's not working, we build plans to hire the correct people to exit people that are not working. I think for a small company, we spend a lot of time on that. And I think it pays off.
Definitely, yeah. Those three things you mentioned are super big. I think it's something that every company should pay attention to. Surround yourself with great team players that share your. I don't know if you do have core values defined or not, but share your vision, your values if you do have them defined, that are easy to work with, and that of course bring the results that you need to win the match, let's say. And the other two are equally important to measure, to be consistent. Is really important. What Carlos did back then, when in the beginning with the product and with the testing, and then of course to in you two in growing the company. That's awesome. So
I wanted to add one thing there, because I think that's you're touching something important. Is not because at the beginning maybe it's, yes, I have an idea, but over the time becomes maybe it's more like a collective, goal and mission. When we build our mission and our values, etc., actually, it's not that I did it with Mariana. No, we have all the team. We all came together. We did a workshop. we build our values, we collectively agree about those things. So I think that to create that sense of ownership, you should be participant. And I think that that's something that we have been trying to bring here. I'm happy to see that we don't have that many rotation in the company. Actually, most of the people is staying, and we see that they are very, very, very committed. So I'm very glad about the team that we have been building, and I'm excited about to continue growing the company. So yeah, by the way, those are things that I will not say that things that they are the ugly things. I would say this is the great things, because I think that having great people is one of the most amazing things about to do entrepreneurship, because if you want to do it, you do it because you really want to build talent and you want to inspire people. So I think that that's one of the reasons why you should do entrepreneurship.
Awesome.
And I would say it's not common to have low turnover in a small startup. And so I think that's the result of all this effort that has been done behind the scenes. Yeah.
I think it's not a coincidence you being so dedicated to delivering this, this mission that you are with the brand, that you have the same drive internally with your team. I think it's not a coincidence. I mean, it doesn't need to be that way, but it's not a coincidence in your case, because you're so determined to deliver a message, to stand for something, right? So I think it's pretty amazing. And when you, as Carlos said, when you inspire and your team and make them a part of building the identity of the brand as a collective, as he said, I think that's what builds loyalty from them to you as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance that we've had between, because it's not like we went with a clean slate and it's like, oh, what do you think our mission should be? We had an established mission and vision and like an essence, and we had been transmitting that along the way, but it was a great exercise to sort of like, okay, let's like build it together. And we came to something that was very similar, but everybody felt a part of it. So it was great. It was a good exercise.
Awesome. I know we are running out of time, and I want to be respectful with your time, but I want to quickly ask you about the following, because we've been talking about product offer, funnel, etc., but not how you guys acquire and retain your customers. So I know it's a long conversation to have, but just really quickly, what are your main client acquisition channels? And in this case, I know you're in it for the long term with your clients, right? So I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, that getting them to come back for more is really important, because it means that they need your product, they love your product. So what efforts are you guys doing on that front too?
So I can start with acquisition. So paid marketing is how we've chose to focus our resources in the last 3 years since we've launched, mostly, not solely, but mostly. Within paid marketing, Meta and Google is what we've relied the most. That being said, we've tried and continue to try a lot of different new platforms, because as for everybody else, they become more and more expensive. And so we continuously are exploring things like Tapjoy for like video games and just several others. Unfortunately, we haven't found something that can allow us to shift, but we keep trying. Now, outside of paid marketing, which is something that especially in the last, I would say, year, we are focusing more and more. We did at the very beginning spend time doing PR that paid off for us, not only because we got good coverage that gives us credibility, so important when you're a brand nobody has heard of, so important with investors as well. And we got some awards, and that was all great. But that aside, it really fed our affiliate marketing pipeline, and that did very well for us until it didn't. And now we are, working on addressing some challenges there. But I think it's super important to focus on the key things outside paid marketing, like SEO, like influencers, like PR, things that basically are going to give you referrals from other brands, from other customers, from publications, from like someone or something that acts as an ambassador to your brand, as an advocate for your brand. And that's super important. And we are more and more putting effort. That's one of the goals and where we are focusing our budget this year. And then the big piece that in the last 9 months has decreased our cost of acquisition is Amazon. That is the reason we launched in Amazon. Yes, to increase our reach, but mostly to decrease our cost of acquisition. And so far, it's still early days, but it has proven to be true. Our cost of acquisition overall as a company has come down.
I think that having talking to other founders and we are going a little bit backwards maybe that other companies did, but it's because we wanted to build a little bit of a scale, a little bit fast. Because I think that usually you begin more with social, you begin more with other, PR, influencers, etc. Actually, we began things a little bit backwards in the sense that we are maybe a less competitive category, so we were able to leverage the opportunity to do more paid media. As we move forward, a lot of our focus also has been becoming how we can build a community, how we can build a social channel that, engage more with users. Also begin to work with some influencers. We're also looking at other programs that we can engage more with them and create more word of mouth. And also referral marketing, because we see like a great potential with our users that are loyal, how they can become advocates for us. So I think that learning about this experience, I think that it's good to have a little bit of a scale also to begin to leverage those channels in a big way, because sometimes it's a little bit challenging to do it the other way around. But that's how we decided, and I think that has been working for us. And now we have every day we have a more mixed portfolio, more solutions and more tools to bring users into the brand.
I think it's important to understand from the very beginning that, you have limited resources and you have to make some choices. And it's hard because we had this desire to like do everything and why not this and why not that. But I think it's good to have some discipline because you can try to do everything, but you're likely not going to do it well. And so I agree with Carlos. I think for us, it was the right choice. I think it has to do also, yes, with the category not being as competitive, also with a brand that it was built by a marketeer. It's not a brand centered on an influencer, on a personality, on a celebrity, So like certain, I think, brands or propositions lend themselves more to some viral things or some social media push. I think for us it was not to be that way. And also the moment. I mean, you mentioned earlier about how like Facebook ads and what they did for you and how much they costed, right? 10 years ago, it was a very different landscape. It was the same for influencers. Back in the day, at some point, it was very inexpensive and sort of easier to build an influencer thing. It's not so much anymore. And so so that was a choice, but it was informed a little bit by the moment that caught us when we were launching.
I guess we need to adjust to the trends of the moment and try to test and find what works best for a company, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Great. So the last question I have for you, because we are on time, and I want again to be respectful with it. What's next for Cleverman in 2024?
Yeah, for us is to continue growing our business. We have a lot to do in our DTC channel, so we are learning more from our users. Now we have more data. We're trying to do more predictive analytics. We have to improve our retention every day. We saw a lot of opportunities. The challenge is how to address each of them and how to prioritize each of them. Also, as I mentioned many times, we don't want to be just only a hair color brand. We want to be at that toolkit for users, for men to look good and feel good. So we wanted to launch new portfolios, new categories, and also to continue expanding new channels, but also always building on the things that we have been building. I think that in the last, it's less than 3 years, and in 3 years, We launched our DTC, now we launched Amazon. We need to continue building them, but also we wanted to continue building and begin to nurture those new things that are going to continue and helping to grow our business into the future.
Amazing. Carlos, Mariana, I wanted to thank you both for coming here on the show. It means a lot to me. And I would like to ask you, where can people go to learn more about Cleverman and you guys?
We are both on LinkedIn. You can find us there, and becleverman.com for the company. Brian, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. So everyone listening to this or watching, please go ahead and get those links from the show notes, their LinkedIn, and of course the website, becleverman.com. Thank you again. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
You.